Hi and welcome to Healthy Life Hacks. I'm Jennifer Jeffries, the present day wise woman, a realistic naturopath coming to you from the surfing beaches of Australia. This podcast is for those of you who are wanting to really rock your life and health and live from a place of prevention. Let's get into today's episode. In the early part of the 20th century, pellagra, which was a skin disease, killed so many poor Southerners in the USA, and it was huge. And everyone's going, what is it? What is it? What is it? Germs were recently kind of discovered, so to speak, and they were the hottest topics, and everyone's doing, it's got to be a germ. It's got to be a germ. And so many doctors and scientists thought it was. There was this bloke, Dr. Joseph Goldberger, and he'd been working in the whole germ world and infectious diseases for years. And he knew that germs didn't kind of distinguish between people. Now, the other thing that was common, or the hottest thing on the block at the time, was corn. Corn was the newest kid on the block, and it was cheap, and people in the southern parts of the USA were consuming it at a really big level. And what he found was, what he worked out was that huge numbers of people were actually eating all this corn and not a diet rich in vitamin B3, which is niacin, and they were becoming niacin deficient. And it was a real turning point for science, because all of a sudden people went, wow, all right, it's not just the food, but it's the nutrients in the food that's really important. So what is niacin, and why do I love it so much? Niacin is one of the 8 water-soluble vitamins. It's water-soluble. Our body doesn't kind of accumulate it. We have to be putting it in our bodies all the time. Now, it's a vitamin that acts like an antioxidant, and it plays a super important role in cell signaling and DNA repair. It does. It helps our cells repair. Now, deficiency, skin things are a really common one, but things like memory loss, that foggy brain, digestive disorders, there can be a lot going on, and long-term, heart and things as well. Niacin also has a super important role in the formation of NAD. Now, NAD is being spoken about so much more nowadays, and I'm doing a podcast all about NAD really soon. So hang on for that. That's a whole topic on its own. But it's important for the formation of NAD. And the bottom line is NAD helps our body process components from food into usable energy. It's huge. It's a really important component. Now, and I love that science is going, oh, NAD, NAD, NAD. And if you want to read books, there's a book called Lifestream, which has got it's really heavy ass science, but it's really cool on all the science behind it. But it's a crazy cool book. And vitamin B3 is just a crazy cool nutrient. So mostly we find niacin in the form of niacinamide or nicotinic acid. And what does niacin help us with? Well, one of the big ones we use it for in clinic as a naturopath is with bloody cholesterol. Niacin can help your body to improve your blood fat levels. And it does it by bringing down our bad fat, bringing up our good fat. Our bad fats are the LDLs. The good fats are the HDLs. So that's your triglycerides. It's really important for our cholesterol levels. And as naturopaths, we use niacin, so much for helping people with high cholesterol. It's also excellent for helping with blood pressure. So niacin is important for releasing prostaglandins, which are the little chemicals that help your blood vessels to open, to widen. So it improves blood flow, and it helps to reduce blood pressure. Now, niacin, remember I said, comes in the form of niacinamide and nicotinic acid. So the biggest difference in the two are, and both are really good for all these things. They're both B3, just 2 different forms. Nicotinic acid, which is a form that most naturopaths prescribe, it really opens those blood vessels. Blood is able to rush to areas where blood circulation is maybe sluggish. And you can get what's called a niacin flush. Now, a niacin flush in our world is like, yes, it's so good. But it can freak some people out if they've never had a niacin flush before. It's like getting the worst case of prickly heat you've ever had. Generally, it will start in your head because, your head is above your heart. It's hard work pumping blood uphill, which is why it's also so important for brain function. And you'll feel it move down your body. And depending on how deficient you are, the niacin flush comes quicker or slower. And as your levels start to come up, when you take niacin in the form of nicotinic acid, you won't get that niacin flush eventually. But initially, if you are deficient in niacin, it can be pretty bloody uncomfortable, which is why in Australia here, the TGA rules, it's only practitioners who can actually sell it in quantity. But in other parts of the world, you can buy it in every corner drugstore in the USA. And I think it's an amazing nutrient. I really do. So if you have not had niacin in the form of nicotinic acid before, and you actually happen upon some, please be aware, at least have it with a full belly, full food in your belly, and that will help to make a slower release of that nicotinic acid. Otherwise, you're going to get a niacin flush. Now, the niacin flush disappears in, half an hour to an hour generally. You have this wonderful state of relaxation afterwards because it pumps your blood, but at the same time, it's just bringing back your blood pressure. It's just so good. I love it on so many levels. So it is, like I said, the place that we usually get that niacin flush first is our face. It's our head. You'll feel it tingles. It's like prickles coming down our skin. But it's really pumping blood through to the brain, which is important. Your brain needs niacin to get energy and function properly. And even things like brain fog and even some psychiatric symptoms are actually associated with a niacin deficiency. It's amazing. There's so many foods out there that are good with it, and yet so many of our foods nowadays are nutrient poor because everything's been farmed out of them. So there is a place for supplements, I believe. So some studies have also shown that vitamin B3, niacin, and even in the form of niacinamide, can help the brain be healthy in cases of Alzheimer's. I want to do everything I can to keep a strong, fit, healthy brain. Good circulation is the place to start. Good hydration with plenty of water. The other area that niacin is really kind of famous for is skin. Niacin helps to protect our skin cells, particularly from things like sun damage. So whether it's taken orally as a supplement or even applied as a lotion, some of the natural sunscreens you find around the place are starting to work with things like niacin as an ingredient. There's also been studies that have shown that it can help prevent in some types of skin cancer. There was a study that was done where over 300 people who were really super high risk of skin cancer found that taking just 500 milligrams of nicotinamide, which is niacinamide, it's its other name, twice a day reduced the rates of non-melanoma skin cancers compared to a control group. That's huge. I'm not making any claims to say it's going to help prevent skin cancers, but I know that niacin is a supplement I take on a regular basis. I also know that it is a food source that I focus on to make sure is a focus in my diet. So what are the richest food sources? Well, it's protein. So red meats, beef, liver, pork, being veggie. Anyway, I had to make that sound. Poultry, fish is one. As also your legumes. So being a vegetarian, legumes are great. Brown rice is excellent. So the close to nature, the brown bread, brown rice, brown pasta, brown. Not the white refined stuff that leaches water-soluble minerals like B3 out of your body. Nuts and seeds, also useful, and bananas. Bananas not as much, but there's still a food with it in it. So the healthy life hack is pretty simple. Prevention is the key. I find a lot of people are not having enough nice and rich foods in their diet, and it is just such an essential vitamin for so many parts of our health. I really believed it needed a podcast all on its own. So check out vitamin B3, niacin in your area. Maybe it's worth supplementation for a little while. To check out the show notes for that list of vitamin B3 niacin rich foods, head over to healthylifehacks.com.au. I want to thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed my podcast, please let me know by leaving a review on Apple Podcast. Every month, I draw one lucky person who leaves a review on Apple Podcast to have a free 1-hour consultation with me. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you're tuning in from so that you always catch the next episode. And if you would like to receive a free copy of my Feed Your Body ebook, simply click the link in the comments below. Join my newsletter and we will get that free ebook sent to you. I welcome your emails and you can write to me at podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au. Until next time, remember, when it comes to life, live it I love it, and get on with it.